if we stay in the customs union and the single market, we're not going to be able to do these bilateral trade deals that we've heard so much about, because we would still be bound by our belonging to the EU trade bloc.
But through the EU, we have the benefit of strong agreements with over 65 countries, countries outside of the European Union.
I know that's what you think, but I'm just saying that's not leaving the EU, is it, if we can't pursue our own trade deals?
But it is. I mean, if you look at Turkey, Turkey is not in the EU, but it is participates in some form in the EU's customs union. But the question is not whether you can get trade agreements. You can get trade agreements in or out of the European Union structure. Hang on just a minute. The question is the terms, and we're in a much stronger position when out of the EU, but working with the EU, we're negotiating one side of the table with 500 million other people when we're trying to negotiate something with China, than if we, with 65 million people, are trying to do the same.
Look, that may be, in your view, the best way of doing it. My point is that has been rejected. Because when we voted to leave the European Union, we basically said we don't want the European Union representing us for trade. I mean, that's what it means, surely. That
wasn't on the ballot paper. To the Secretary of State for giving way. Can he answer 3 questions? First of all, with regard to the existing agreements, with regards to the agreements the EU has with third countries that he says will be transposed, can he guarantee that those 65 agreements will be transposed by the exit day? And secondly, this bill does touch on new agreements to the extent that the Trade Remedies Authority will have a locus and oversight on those agreements. And he said, I mean, he was part of a campaign that promised that we would have all these new agreements with Canada, the US, Japan. We would immediately start negotiating with all these countries. It's right, isn't it, that none of those negotiations has actually started?
I look forward to the Honourable Gentleman's extension of that intervention in his speech. But just to deal with the last of those issues, the Honourable Gentleman is well aware that under our duty of sincere cooperation, while we remain a member of the European Union, we are not able to negotiate new trade agreements while we are members of the European Union. And we will want, first of all, to get continuity of the agreements that already exist. There are about 40 of them. We will want to have as many of them, and if possible all of them, transition before we leave the European Union. I absolutely confirm that. And we already have 14 working groups with 21 countries in preparation for future negotiations on the very trade agreements that we want to take advantage of when we leave the European Union.